RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right, what's happening, everybody? I hope you can hear me. I had some technical problems yesterday. I was going to do a show yesterday, and right before I went to go on air, my entire computer wasn't working. I don't know. I didn't know what the hell was wrong. I didn't have any task bars. I couldn't get the friggin' apps on the side up. You know what I mean? I could, like, the where all the apps are. I'm on a Mac. Anyway, the computer's old. I need a new computer. I feel like this one's on its last legs. So anyway, whatever. I'm just gonna have to invest in a new computer. I didn't do it yet. So anyway, I'm a little. You can hear it in my voice. Maybe I feel stuffed up, and that's why I'm sitting down. Thank you, Winston, on the chat to tell me that everything looks and sounds good. Thank you, because I was hoping, because I had to do the update, and that means I'm sure there are some pitfalls here that are yet to be discovered. So anyway, but when I get a new computer, I haven't ordered it yet, but I will. So we won't have. Well, we'll have a few more years of maybe not having to worry about it. I really do have to I just have to bite the bullet and order it. And I was just not looking forward to another big bill. That's all. But it's going to be worse if the computer dies and then we have nothing. So, because the computer's so old at this point, it's not even, sometimes when you get a new computer with Apple, they give you whatever. They give you some money when you turn in the computer, but this is nothing. This is going straight to the recycle bin. So at least they offered me $0 for it. So all right. I don't know. Maybe somebody would want it. I guess I could sell it for cheap. So, okay, listen. So I'm sitting down because I'm feeling very whatever. I'm feeling a little under the weather. I'm feeling tired and achy. And I took a COVID test again to make sure I didn't have it for a third time in 2 months. And it came back negative, thankfully. But I don't know. Maybe this is what long COVID is. That's what people say, right? You're tired and I don't know. Well, whatever. That's why I'm sitting on my ass instead of standing up. I figured I'm tired. And look at the producer behind us. He's tired too. So, okay, listen. Thank you so much for hanging out. This is Tara Devlin, unapologetic liberal talk. On the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. And also, if you can, I set up, I don't know if it's fully set up, I started setting it up there. This channel, not only can you become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin, and I hope you do, to keep the show on the air, but I set up memberships on YouTube, so you can also, if you don't want to be a patron, you can support through YouTube, become a member, and we'll figure out some members only shows and whatnot. That's why these are the things I got to think of. We need to do some members only shows, something to entice people to become members. Maybe we could do like because another thing we're going to do is maybe this could be good. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. Because Robin Kincaid and I didn't do the show on Wednesday because we filled in for Mike Malloy on the Mike Malloy show. So if you aren't a supporter of Malloy, you need to be, because he's the godfather of us all. So MikeMalloy.com. And so Robin and I have been thinking about doing a show together for a long time, me and Robin, and so we've been discussing it because it only started as just in general, because every time Robin and I would get together or talk on the phone or whatever, it just flows. And we started saying, we need to put a friggin' camera or something. We need to start recording these conversations, because it's, I thought good, people would enjoy it, and it would be something fun. Because when we got together, when I went to West Virginia for the Horn-In, we were driving around with our friend David, and I kept saying we should put a camera up there, and maybe we'll do a show where Rob and I can go cross country in a car. That would be something fun, right? Whatever. I'm just thinking. Maybe it's my stuffy head talking. So, it is exhausting. Richard W. watching Republican politics is absolutely exhausting. And that's what I was thinking when I was thinking about what to call tonight's show. And I thought, I don't know. I didn't call it this, but I was thinking of calling it, how are we going to get through the next 2 years? I can't take 2 more years of this shit. It's only just begun. But 2 more years? We've been dealing with this shit for my entire life. Our entire life. I have. The minute I became politically aware and had to deal with... you know what it is? When I think about when I became politically aware, when I was a younger person, and... what was so, of course I didn't have all the, of course, none of us know everything now, but I didn't have all the historical connections either. I learned, as you grow and you learn, and if you are, not a Republican, you expose yourself to life and different ideas and history and all that. At least if you have, if you're intellectually curious in any sense, unlike Republicans who don't want to learn a damn thing. That's what they think their birthright is. Just dig your heels in and never change. And if people do change, then make sure you work as hard as you can to drag them back to times we left in the trash bin. So, but what was really... I'm trying to think. It was sort of depressing and upsetting and kind of... I'm trying to think of what the right word is. That's why I'm searching my feelings right now for it. Because it was... maybe there was some disappointment there too. And because I just didn't understand how Republicans... well, when I called them Republicans back then... how terrible they are. I just didn't understand how people could be so cruel and have no interest in changing, or you know what it was too, selfish. That was the other thing, because as I was growing up, and I remember when I was younger, and I still have these friends, and I'm thinking of a couple of friends in particular, but this person who is still my friend was kind of a right-winger at the time, okay? And I always remember getting into arguments with him, no drag down, full-on, arguments, and he was always, he was like a right winger. Okay. So, and my other friends, we would all be like, what the fuck is he talking about? This guy, and in my heart, I thought he was just trying to be contrarian, but I don't know. I'm sure he believed it on some level, but the thing is, as life went on, and at the time, he was a real right-wing douchebag, and we would talk about universal health care and Social Security, and he's, oh, well, I could do better with my money, putting it in the market. Like, we all have to be freaking day traders and shit like that. And Social Security is not, it's not, it's not necessarily a retirement plan. It's an insurance plan. So if we run into the frailties of being human, there's something to fall back on. We don't have to go and sell apples on the street, or matchsticks, like the little matchstick girl. And anyway, so time went on. And while he was this big douchebag right winger, he also was doing very well financially. Okay, he was probably making more money than any other of my friends, including myself, and also, was like the VP of a record label. Okay, hold on, I'll be right back. We'll finish the story and we'll get going here. All right, we're back. Unapologetic liberal talk. And so I'm talking about my friend who was a right winger at the time. This is talking like 20 years ago, right? So to make a long story short, he was I now currently, because he used to be a VP of a record label when the records were a thing. All right, you know what I'm saying? An independent record label. So he was doing well. And now he's not homeless or anything, but things have changed for him, and there's struggles involved, and not being able to go to the doctor, not being able to, have the freedom to be sick, right? I mean, that's freedom too. But it's so funny how if you're sitting in the catbird seat of power, or you think, right, that everybody else can just, well, if you did it, why can't everybody else? But the thing is, things change. So when the record industry went, where the hell did it go? I mean, who buys friggin' records anymore? Everything's changed. So the record label is no longer in existence. It used to they had some big acts too. It was Rough Trade was the record label. And, touring back way back when. And others record labels. But, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you see, this is the other thing with the Republicans, right? I don't know what I don't get into it with him now about what he, if he votes Republican, I doubt it, because just talking to him, you could tell things have changed. He's for universal health care and things like that. Okay. Because it's the Republican way to, unfortunately, only see the light if something affects you directly. And you could do everything right. You could be smart. You could be talented. And still, everyone needs a little help now and then. And also, knowing the what goes on all over the world. It doesn't have to be this way. We live in the richest country on earth, but we're poor. We're poor in every other way, except for a technicality. We're rich. Some people are very rich, and others are just, hanging by a thread. And I just saw a tweet. In fact, let me see. Well, first of all, let me just do some yes. Unless you're Steve Scalise. Do some plugs. But, okay, you know how to go to... You got to go to YouTube. Now, what am I talking about? Patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Become a patron, all right? The other thing is support the sponsors of Tarabuster, specifically APS Radio News. That's an independent media aggregate. And they host this show which is a privilege, and I'm honored to be a part of APS Radio News. So if, check it out. They have other shows over there, not just liberals. If you go over there, and it's run by a very awesome person, Charlie. So, yeah, tell Charlie that Tara sent you, and that's it. You could be friends, too. All right, what else? I'll think of more things later as we go. We don't have a lot of time tonight, and we've missed the whole week. It sucks. So, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, we're talking about, might as well start there, because I was talking about the poor people. And I just saw somebody tweeted something, if only Republicans hated poverty as much as they hate the poor, but it's all, they're so damn transparent. That's the other thing when I was thinking about when, trying to remember about when I first understood that Republicans were so vile, inexplicably. That's I remember watching that show when I was young, when Rush Limbaugh had a show on television. Do you remember that? That was before I really understood the state of things in the country. And I remember watching the show and being confused, like, what's fucking wrong with this guy? That was the thought I had. My initial assessment of it was, what is he talking about? And he had it would say like Clinton day 150, America under siege, day 150, or whatever the fuck it was. And I remember thinking, what is he talking about? What is this dickweed talking about? America under siege. But here we are. We go from that to this. Now we have literal friggin' coup plotters who are actual representatives who've infiltrated the halls of power. So we go, and it all started back then, where you're not just two political parties. One's conservative. You both have an idea of how to make the country's American, working class economically vibrant and upwardly mobile. Except you have one party's conservative, the other one's a little more liberal. I won't say they are liberal, but but you both have the same goals. That's the hope, right? That's no longer. It's all by the wayside. And it started with the kind of, with Rush Limbaugh, with the Telecommunications Act, with all. That's probably why I was confused. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Where'd this shit come from? What is he talking about? Clinton is the enemy, because that's the way he presented, Bill Clinton was the enemy. Not just, a president of a different party. It's your enemy. But this is the way the Republicans have always played this game, though. When you think about JFK, before JFK went to Dallas, where he was assassinated, the Koch brothers were, what was it? Now the name is escaping me. Somebody on the chat will post it. They were leafleting downtown where JFK was going, where the motorcade was going to go, with these flyers saying that he was an enemy, that he was a communist agent, and he was, it's always about turning the weak-willed, weak-minded morons against the government that the founders fought a revolution to create and entrust to us. Everybody's under attack, right? They're attacking you. They want to control you. Don't trust the government, because you'll end up having to go to a bathroom with somebody who might be trans, you know? These fucking people. Yep. All right, this is Tara Devlin. We're back. So here's, where is it? Republican. So I want to talk about George Santos too. He's a piece of dirt. Yes, and he's not resigning. He keeps saying he's not resigning. He's also a self-loathing. He's not a closet case, but we know he's a drag performer. It's funny how he's denying being a drag performer. But he's still not denying. He's not saying anything about his mother. You know, because of course his mother was not in the South Tower on September 11th when it was attacked. First of all, his mother was a fucking cleaning lady. Okay, not that there's anything wrong with the cleaning lady. I'm just saying it because what cleaning lady is gonna rent an office in the South Tower of the fucking World Trade Center? You got to be cleaning buku houses, right? I didn't know that's prime real estate in the South Tower, in the World damn Trade Center. But we know for a fact that she wasn't in the country on September 11th at all. So how could she be in the South Tower? And then she dies a few years later from cancer, which has nothing to do, when we went through this already, a few years, meaning he writes a few years later on his website, a few years being 16. Oh, I hate these people. I really do. I don't understand. And this is probably, it goes back to my more innocent self, where I was confused. How can people be this stupid? How can people be this mean and self-loathing and loathing of their fellows? How? How is this possible? Also, the hypocrisy is unbelievable, but not unexpected. Shit. I'm trying to find this. Of course, we spend a lot of time here on Tarabuster trying to find articles that I spend time, picking, but I can't fucking find when the show is going on. Yeah, everybody. They all suck. The clown show is unreal. But it's all about, and we talked about this on the show too, it's all about denigrating the government too. Because, somebody like Roger, I'm looking at Roger Stone's tweet, that's why I said, like George Santos, he not only is gives Kevin McCarthy a vote, but he denigrates the government. He sullies and stains the government, and he turns people off from voting, and this is what they want. And they say it out loud. Like, there's another thing I contemplated talking about tonight was one of these filthy fascist bastards. I think it's in Michigan, where he boasted that they were successful in suppressing the vote of the African American community. Because, it's like, don't believe your lying eyes. Believe what comes out of their mouth. And then they'll all cry, how dare we call them racist? How dare we even point out the reality that's right in front of our faces? And the Republicans, they think we're stupid. But they forget, you see. They forget that the majority of Americans are not as dumb as the people who vote for them. Because they are a minority party. They are not only are they a minority party, they receive fewer votes and they represent a minority ideology. So, and that is the truth. And they know this. In fact, one of the good things I saw on corporate media recently was that I can't remember where, but they did. One of these shows on corporate media did a story about that, how all over the country, from the state legislature on up, the Republicans receive fewer votes, and they are in the majority. We know this is the case when it comes to federal elections. Republicans have not won the popular vote. And then this whole popular vote thing, whenever I hear popular vote, I'm like, the popular vote in every other country is called the vote. The popular vote. You receive the most votes, you fucking win. So, yeah. Only here in America, because it really is the throwback to the good old days, like Republicans like to refer to it or recall it as, when everyone knew their place, and these like the Electoral College it's in place to ensure that democracy doesn't break out, that actual democracy doesn't break out, and that there's stopgaps to democracy, and that's what it's about. So this is what Republicans are doing all over the country. They're ensuring that if the people vote for one thing, that the Republicans will have the final say. They're disgusting. This is part of them having no shame. They have no shame. Look at their standard bearer. Look at Carrie Lake. Look at George Santos. Look at them all. Look at them all. I can't find this fucking thing I was looking at. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me see something here. And thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Thank you, Richard W., for your super chat. Another great show, Tar. Tar, isn't that movie with Kate Blanchett? Tar. I didn't see it. I heard it was kind of weird. Tar. And not worth the hype. Anyway, here it is. Iowa's plan. Here it is. GOP in Iowa. This is what I wanted to point out. Fuck. I need a new computer. This is so annoying. So a group of Iowa Republicans are pushing legislation that would limit what the state's low-income residents are allowed to buy with their supplemental nutrition assistance program that benefits SNAP, food stamps. If it becomes law, Iowa's House File 3 would reduce the breadth of what is eligible to purchase under SNAP benefits, sometimes referred to as food stamps, to a more limited array of options, as defined under the list of supplemental foods in the Special Supplemental Nutritional Program for Women, Infants, and Children, known as WIC. The restrictions would include bans on white grains like white bread, pasta, and rice, as well as bans on using SNAP benefits to purchase certain starches like beans or cereals. Certain cheeses would also be banned, with restrictions on crumbled or sliced cheese. These fucking people are monsters. You understand? This is about dignity. And they hate poor people, like their Jesus told them to do, right? And isn't that something that Jesus told them to do? Hate the poor, vilify the stranger, right? Yeah, if the stranger wants to welcome, comes in and don't welcome them, build a wall. Oh God, this is the Republican Jesus. Let's see. The proposal is so dehumanizing, says Jamie Castle, a former Democratic candidate for Congress and a former candidate for city council, tweeted in response to the Axios, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Hold on. My sister is disabled from severe MS and gets SNAP help. For Christmas, she asked for a bag of chocolate-covered almonds, and she had been craving this treat, but they weren't allowed. Give people dignity. Oh, well, maybe your sister should have not, she should have pulled herself up by her bootstraps and not get multiple sclerosis. It's not about her, though. It's about us. Yeah. So we're reading this article about how Republicans hate poor people, but it is not about the people on food stamps or SNAP. It's about us. You see? What would it matter? Somebody gets a fucking bag of chocolate-covered almonds. What do you give a shit? But, Republicans are, I really do wish they loved Jesus as much as they shove him down our throats. This fake, sick version of Jesus, I should say. I really do. Because because they're always pointing out, of course they do it all the time, wherever there's a human anything, there will be people taking advantage. There will be, someone who gets more than they deserve or whatever the fuck. But I'm not worried about somebody getting $16 more in SNAP benefits that they don't deserve, or someone getting some chocolate-covered fucking almonds. Who cares? Because, this is what the Republicans, they want us to focus on this stuff. So we hate people lower on the ladder, and we don't point our fingers where it belongs, at the top. The real grifters like George Santos and pals who have Ponzi schemes and, who are becoming trillionaires while the American people are slipping lower on the ladder. Right? So this is what we're supposed to all care about. And Republicans have been great at vilifying any form of public assistance because they don't like democracy. You understand? They don't like civilization. They don't like the general welfare. They hate everything about this country. If they had it up to them, to themselves, if it was up to the friggin' Republicans, they would officially change the national motto from E pluribus unum to In God We Trust. You better believe it. The founders left us with a national motto, E pluribus unum, even though they said, one of their speeches during the Kevin McCarthy sham show, the lick-spittle pageant that went on for how many days? One of these filthy Republicans, did he misspeak? No. He got up there, he said, our national motto, E Publius Unum. E Publius. Who the fuck is Publius? Right? But that's because he was probably reading it for the first time. And, of course, they never talk about it. So, E Publius. E Publius. And nobody's, he just, he tried to let it slip by. He's like, E Publius Unum. Because he didn't know what he was saying. That's what it was. He saw this word, it's e pluribus, e publius. But how many times have we seen, I know I've seen a lot, it drives me up a wall, where Republicans will say, our national motto, in God we trust. They say that all the time. But this is how things change. This is how they get their, their revisionist history into the mainstream, where people start thinking, oh yeah, that's our national motto is this God we trust bullshit. Well, I wish, but the thing is, they want just God. We don't trust, because you can't trust government. You trust God. That's what they say. Even Trump, we have him on tape, right? This is one of their popular sayings. We don't believe in government, or we don't. Yeah, how do they put it? No, they say we don't worship government. We worship God. Well, who the fuck worships government? We don't worship government either. But we want it to function. We understand it is how we organize as a community into a civilized society that works for all, and we understand, or at least we try. That's the point. That's what we're trying to do. We don't worship it. We want it to work. It's like, they're so stupid. We don't worship what? We worship God. We don't worship our TVs. We worship God. You can replace it with anything. We don't worship that either. We don't worship. Who said we worship fucking God? You see, it's like they project. They don't want, worship government. They don't want the American people to think anything of government. That's why they like it with George Santos in there and all the other clowns, because they want people not to think anything of, don't go vote, because it doesn't matter. You're just voting for some grifter. They're all grifters. This is what I keep hearing too, and seeing on social media. This is a popular refrain from the low information voter. They take, and we know, it's the Bertolt Brecht quote. The worst illiterate is the political illiterate, and they puff up their chest and say, I don't believe in politics. I don't pay attention to politics. This is what's happening here. They say, oh, they're all crooks. Well, no, some, yeah. But show me the Democratic equivalent of George Santos, please. You can't. He would be gone. For a fact, if the Democrats had this slim majority, he would be gone. That's the thing. Because Democrats, as to my utter frustration too, they constantly model decent behavior for hoping the Republicans will follow suit. And for example, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm sure you saw, this is something that annoyed the hell out of me, and I was going to talk about this, but because I couldn't do a show yesterday. Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Perjury Trader Green got into a tiff in the ladies' room, apparently. Because this is who they are. You understand? They're fucking children. So, Representatives Lauren Boebert and Perjury Trader Green reportedly feuded in the restroom. Shit. Stupid ad started playing. Hold on. Oh, God. Okay. The Republican congresswomen were on the opposite sides of the GOP fight over the speakership. Ms. Green steadfastly supported Kevin McCarthy, who ultimately won the gavel, while Boebert opposed him. Multiple sources told the Daily Beast that on the 3rd of January, the first day of the new Congress, Ms. Green and Ms. Boebert engaged in a screaming match in the ladies' room. Now, this is something that since the Republicans have come out of this maggot cesspool, the more maggots we get in the halls of power, the more screaming matches there are. Did you notice that? I'm just going to Google this for a second. Let's see. Let me see. Congress screaming match. Let's see. Here we go. Here's another one. It's usually Perjury Trader Green is involved in a lot of them. Perjury Trader Green, this is from 2021, starts screaming match with Democrats over abortion rights. Killing a baby up until birth is a lack of civility. It's called murder. You dumb bitch. Nobody. Okay, you know how stupid they are. People don't do that. Republicans understand that. Here's the thing. Just an aside. As far as abortion, and we'll get to it too, because of Republicans rallying to kill more women in back alleys today. But the fact that normal people do not want to put a cap on when and if a woman has the choice to bring a pregnancy to term is because the late term abortions usually involve some kind of catastrophe that has to do with the woman's life, or something that is not foreseen. I know people personally that had to go through this, and it is devastating. Hold on. But for Republicans to put a cap on that, there they go again, sticking their filthy, fascist, America-loathing, women-hating noses into people's private medical decisions, into someone's freedom. All right? So leave it. That's why you say leave it up to the woman, her doctor, and back off, bitch. Back off, Perjury Trader Green. Yeah, so Googling Congress screaming match. Let's see. Yeah, screaming match on the Capitol steps. Oh, here we go. Another one. Trump-McCarthy screaming match. It's always Republicans because they're infants. Scream. Oh, Fox News hosts have a screaming match. That's interesting. Oh, another one. Perjury Trader Green in a shouting match. Let's see. Shouting match erupts in Congress. It's incredible. Let me go back a few. Let's go a few pages. Oh, look at this. You're a joke. Green clashes with Cheney and Raskin on the House floor. Screaming matches. This is who they are. They are infants or emotionally stunted adolescents. That's really as high as their emotional maturity goes. Let's see. Oh, look at this. Who's this? 1995. Dispute over Medicare hearing explodes into a shouting match. Look at that. What began as a move by Republicans to postpone a Medicare hearing ended in an angry shouting match with a Democrat branding Republicans as fascists. Look at that. For refusing to allow debate. You're a bunch of dictators. That's all you are, said Representative Sam Gibbons. as he stormed out red-faced from a meeting. I had to fight you guys 50 years ago, Gibbons said, who fought the Nazis in World War II. Huh, look at that. See? I told you. I told you. Outside the room, surrounded by other lawmakers, nervous police, and reporters, Gibbons squared off verbally with Representatives Jim Nussle of Iowa and Bill Thomas of Bakersfield. What angered Gibbons was the decision by the House Republicans to postpone a hearing originally set as for today as their as yet unveiled plan to pull $270 billion in deficit savings from Medicare over the next 7 years. Democrats wanted several weeks of hearings. This is in 1995. Well, just want to take that trip down memory lane quickly. When we're taking a trip down memory lane, let's talking about screaming matches. All right. Well, anyway, let's get back to the current screaming match. What happened, and we'll go back. You know how it is with Tarabuster. Come on, there's a fucking ad playing. So, from the Daily Beast. When Kevin McCarthy, okay, blah, 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 we got to that point. They're talking about Boebert and Green are on opposite sides of the speakers, the weaker speakers election. Green questioned Boebert's loyalty, because that's all that matters. Loyalty is replaced. Loyalty replaces expertise in the Republican Party. So, getting back to the argument, Green questioned Boebert's loyalty to McCarthy, and after a few words were exchanged, Boebert stormed out. According to another source in the bathroom, Green asked Boebert, "You were okay taking millions of dollars from McCarthy, but you refused to vote for him for Speaker, Lauren?" The first source said Green was in a stall and upon coming out confronted Boebert about taking money and then turning on McCarthy. The Coloradan Republican was allegedly unaware that Green was also in the bathroom. That's when Lauren said, "Don't be ugly," the first source said, but then she ran out like a schoolgirl. Asked about the dust-up in the Capitol, Boebert simply said, "See you later. Bye." And then Green didn't return the request for comment. At least one other member is alleged to have witnessed the exchange. This is what annoys me. Okay, we'll get to it. Representative Debbie Dingell. But over the course of 3 interviews with 3 different Daily Beast reporters, Dingell would not say what she saw. What happens in the ladies' room stays in the ladies' room, Dingell said. So, okay, the reason that annoys me is because what the fuck is wrong with you Democrats? What happens in the ladies' room stays in the ladies' room. First of all, there's a way to do this. If a reporter comes to you, Debbie, because here's the thing, the freaking Republican, you think that if 2 Democrats were fighting in the bathroom, which would not happen because they're not emotionally stunted schoolyard bullies, but and they know how to contain themselves in public. You act like an adult because you're in the halls of Congress. This isn't the fucking high school lunchroom, right? But the Republicans, they can't help it because they are sick through and through to their DNA. They have no business being in Congress, not at all. So if they ask Dingell, now if they ask a Republican, if 2 Democrats, let's just, fantasy here, right? We're fighting in the bathroom. Do you think if Lauren banned from the bowling alley Boebert or perjury traitor Green was there at the same time, that they wouldn't open their lie holes and make political whatever out of it? and exploit it on their fascist propaganda outlets. Of course they would, because they can't contain themselves. They're not adults, and that's how they play. But Debbie Dingle, what happens in the ladies' room stays in the ladies'. Because that really annoyed me again. Because there you go, the Democrats trying to model good behavior that's not going to be returned. We're not in that era anymore. It's fight these fascists with every ounce of your being unapologetically. You're not helping. They did it to themselves. If you happen to witness it, shame on them for not being mature and adult enough to take their arguments somewhere private and hash it out there. That's why Republicans look like morons when they elected the speaker, and this is why Republicans don't want to have a roaming C-SPAN camera on the floor, because they look like what they are. Immature, stupid, incapable of leading, incapable of adulting, or adulting, however you say. So, what if Debbie Dingle didn't have to say what she said or what they said to each other? All she had to say was, what happens in the ladies' room stays in the ladies' room. But all I could tell you was I had to pinch myself for a second. I thought I was back in my high school lunchroom. Yeah, something like that. Make a comment how these clowns have no business being in the halls of power. They can't contain themselves. They are immature. They disgrace the House of Representatives because they don't know how to behave. They're jokes. They disgrace the entire institution. That's all she had to say. Or even say that. What a disgrace to the institute. How unfortunate these grown women have to behave like that in public, in the House of Representatives, in public, where they didn't have the maturity to take their argument behind closed doors and hash it out like grown-ups. They can't control themselves. It's another example of how Republicans have no business being in the Congress. That's what you do, Debbie. That's what you say. You don't say, what happens in the ladies' room stays in the ladies' room, because that makes them seem charming somehow. It's just the normal way to behave. You're not talking about somebody got their period, and they needed, a tampon. Give me a break. Debbie, I'm so sick of Democrats. This is what I'm talking about. It's like watching the friggin' Nazis goose step all over this place. And then as they sully the place and stain it with their filth, their fascism, and their immaturity, and the Democrats are running cover for them. Why are you covering it up? What happens in the ladies' room stays in the ladies' room. How dare you? They did it to themselves. If they can't contain themselves in front of you, shame on them. So you gotta, give them a pass? Jesus Christ. Right? Am I wrong here? I don't think so. I think that these people, Democrats don't know how to fight. They think, well, and what is that going to do? Now, first of all, you're not gonna. There will not be an opportunity to return the favor, because I'm sure Debbie Dingle will not be arguing like a mean girl from high school in the friggin' public congressional ladies' room. Get the frig out of here with this. So it's not like she's going to. I mean, this is the same unfit bitch Lauren Band from the Bowling Alley Bobert, who went to her town that she pretends to represent and mocked Ilhan Omar, who was doing nothing, saying, "Oh," well, she used her. I'm sure this never even happened. Saying, "Oh, Ilhan was running for the elevator or the escalator, whatever the fuck." No, she was running for the elevator, and then I was like, "Woo! She doesn't have a backpack, so I guess we're safe." Ha 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 ha! You moron. You terrible, terrible, horrible person. That's all they're good for. They're all auditioning for the fascist propaganda outlets, wherever they will be, right? So if they can't control themselves, why are you hiding? Why are you allowing them to act like assholes? I know there's no other way that they act, of course, but why are you enabling it? Why are you covering them up? Anyway, that's what I'm saying. Missed opportunity again. And it's not a make or break moment. We all know they're a bunch of clowns, but this is what I mean. Get out of that mindset, Democrats, of being, well, everybody be nice now. What happens in the ladies' room? No. What happens in the ladies' room, unfortunately, what happens in the ladies' room is happening in the world, is happening in the voting booth, is happening all over the country with a bunch of fucking domestic terrorists running around acting like morons with no ability to function in a free democratic society. It's not just happening in the ladies' room. It's happening everywhere. Because this is the kind of country Republicans have fostered. That you don't just have a disagreement. Oh, the Democrats, they're not just a party that wants, health care. They're trying to groom your kids. They want everybody to, whatever, I don't know, drink adrenochrome. Fucking unreal. Shoot low. So you get them, right? If you don't win, then it's rigged and you go out and commit violence. Make sure you shoot low, though. This is what we're talking about. This is the clown show. If only they were just clowns. There's like a clown from your nightmares. That's what they are. That's why everybody's afraid of clowns. You wake up screaming you see a friggin' clown. This is what we're talking about. The nightmare clown show. Right? That's what it's like. Because they're bringing all this violence, death, division, hatred all over this country and the world. Inspire. What do they inspire? They inspire uprisings in other countries. They inspire dictators to use the fake news bullshit and the stolen election bullshit. That's all they do. Forget America used to be so tedious listening to making the world safe for democracy bullshit. We're not doing that. Of course, we never did it then, but, we're not doing it. What are they exporting? They're exporting autocracy. They're exporting the recipe for autocracy. It's disgusting. When you think about the people who died for this country. That is really what offends me. All the people, you talk about the World War II veterans. Like in the article we read a bit of from 1995, saying you're like the fascists I fought in World War II, and they are, and they effing are. And some of them are openly embracing it. And now people who go and speak at their events are on committees in Congress. Oversight committee. Perjury, traitor, green. But you see what I'm saying? What is this shit? It's part of normalizing this nightmarish clown show. And it happens all the time on corporate media. We see yet again Steve Kornacki at the big board. Well, because I'm already stressing out. 2 years, they say, oh, it's going to be a tough map for Democrats in 2 years. Here comes this fucking drumbeat. In 2 years, is going to be a tough map. Because of this, and then Republicans got to defend that, and then you got the Democrats got to defend in this. It's like, shut the fuck up. Use this time. Wouldn't it be more productive to use the time on the corporate media? Of course, this is me dreaming, of course, to do some stories about how the domestic terrorism is, I don't know, anything, something. How we have goddamn traitors running around the halls of Congress. How they inspire other traitors. Like these 3 or 4 Marines they just arrested from January 6th. Well, it's about damn time. 3 active duty Marines participating in a coup. Now, it's 2 years. 2 years. Are you kidding me? One was waiting for Civil War too? Please. Why are they arrested now? Why were they allowed to roam free for 2 years, these Marines, active duty Marines, including one who was eager for a second Civil War, were arrested and charged this week for participating in the riot at the Capitol? Riot? It was an insurrection. It's a domestic terrorist event. They hold military intelligence positions and have been charged with knowingly entering a restricted building, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or picketing inside the Capitol, where the FBI spent about 52 minutes and other rioters attempting to block, blah, 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 blah. Okay. The FBI said that Coomer, stationed at San Diego's Camp Pendleton, posted photos to Instagram showing him inside the Capitol with the caption saying, "Glad to be a part of history." And of course, he spelled "a part," because they always have to spell something wrong. A search warrant also. Did he? When did he post these photos? 2 years ago? What the? A search warrant also turned up direct messages he exchanged on the platform saying, "Everything in this country is corrupt. We honestly need a fresh restart. I'm waiting for the Boogaloo," which is, of course, a bunch of racist, scum. The Boogaloo movement is a loosely structured and violent far-right group that espouses anti-government beliefs and promotes white supremacy. Jesus Christ. The footage showed Comer inside the Capitol with Helanen and Abate. At one point, they gathered outside to put a Make America Great Again hat on a statue and pose with it. Helanen, stationed at North Carolina's Camp Lejeune, was also seen in footage carrying a yellow "Don't Tread on Me" flag, which is a shame. The Republicans, they ruined that flag. They used to like that flag years ago before they turned it into a symbol of their stupidity. The FBI documents say that Abate stationed at Fort Meade, confirmed in interviews that he entered the Capitals with 2 buddies. He also admitted he heard how the event was being portrayed negatively and decided that he should not tell anybody about going to the Capitol. A total of 9 other service members have been arrested for their roles in the riot, military.com reported. The outlet also noted that 118 of the 940, or about 12% of the people charged with the crimes related to the riot, have some kind of military background. Well, these people need to be, put into Leavenworth and obviously stripped of all the. I mean, because when you're in the military, you're under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. I would think that insurrection against the country that you took an oath, well, whose constitution you took an oath to, would be a pretty serious crime. But why were they walking around for 2 years? He had it on his Instagram page. This is another thing. This is what I'm saying. Right? These people. You don't, I mean, it reminds me so much of Nazi Germany. This is why it's so distressing. How the responses to the Nazis' rise to power were every offense that the Nazis took part in, all of their, intimidation, it was all met with, not a very weak response. And this is why they were able to eventually destroy democracy in Germany to the sound of cheers. Absolutely. It totally reminds me of it. And it's incredibly frustrating. And scary. It is. It's frightening to think that, the corporate media, the members of the Justice Department, people who have the power to do something, to bring the hammer down on these people, are not. They're not doing it. Merrick the Meek, give me a break. And then, of all the ridiculousness, I wish it were just a clown show. It's a nightmare clown show. But all of them, the election denial, the coup, the coup plotting, just the stupidity, the insanity. Like Roger Stone. Who was Roger Stone in? Didn't he hold an official position in Trump's administration? Let me see. Stone, Trump. I mean, I know who Roger Stone is, but did he hold an official position? He was a political consultant. Of course, he was, let's see, blah, blah, blah. Trump. Over the course of the, let me see, a longtime friend of Trump. He's been variously described as a infighter, a seasoned practitioner of hard-edge politics. Blah, 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 blah. He's a political consultant to the Trump campaign. He was charged with felony counts of witness tampering, obstructing an official proceeding, making false statements to Congress. But of course, he was sentenced to 40 months in prison, but he received a pardon from the con man, who received fewer votes. The reason I'm bringing him up is because he just tweeted some more insanity about the death of, what's his name? come on. Crosby? What's his name? Crosby? I don't know. I'm not a big music person, as obviously. David Crosby knew the truth, he writes on Twitter. This is Roger Stone. These are people who have been in the halls of power, you know. David Crosby knew the truth about the Kennedy assassination. Perhaps that's why he was Perhaps that is why he has now turned up dead. No, and he was in his 80s and he was battling a long illness, but you see, this is a Republican. Everything's a conspiracy. Everything is crazy. They're all out to get you. He knew the truth, so they had to silence him. They waited 80-something years to do it, though. Okay. These people. Incredible. But anyway, they're disgusting. And like I said, if only they were clowns. Lovable clowns. Are there any lovable clowns? No, they're terrifying clowns. They're the stuff of nightmares. They're the stuff that wakes you up screaming in the middle of the night. And okay, I see the time. Let me see here. Ooh. They're vile. Okay, let me do some George Santos before we lose our progressive voices, people. And if you're on other platforms, come on over to youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster to hang out with the greatest Americans in American history. And yeah, I think I set up a membership on YouTube. I don't know if it's how. I gotta look into it. I don't know how you would become a member. There must be, maybe there's something on the page. Maybe I have to do something to make it. Because if you don't want to become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin, you could always become a member and help the show keep going and growing, blah, blah, blah. All right, so George Santos is the gift that keeps on giving. And yeah, well, he is the Republican Party. Whenever the Republicans, they're going after Hunter Biden, they're going after President Biden for classified documents, mishandling or whatever the question is, the answer has to be George Santos. That's what Democrats got to do. Hold on, we'll be right back. And so George Santos is not that old. He's in his 30s. It's hard to believe how much criminal activity he's engaged in that short time on the planet. I don't, you guys know that I'm in recovery. So, I had some desperate days out there. I never passed a bad check. I never robbed from my family's employer to pass stole their checkbook or anything like that. I never stole from roommates, friends. I'm not saying I'm the greatest person on earth, of course, but I'm just saying, in my desperation, in the middle, when you're in active addiction, you don't want to know what goes on in your mind in the middle of the night. It's a nightmare. But not as bad, I guess, as the nightmare of the GOP clown show. I don't know. It's its own personal, special kind of nightmare. Just different. Terrible. But I'm very fortunate, of course. One day at a time. But, yeah. But George Santos, who his addiction is being a grifter. He is a sociopath. Well, I guess that's why I didn't do that. Maybe I'm not a sociopath. Sometimes I wish I had a little bit of it, a sociopath in me, because I wouldn't care as much, you know? But obviously George Santos is the veteran whose dog George Santos killed calls him a psychopath, and he's right. I'm sure he's right. So where is it? Because it's hard to believe how many lies this guy's told. Here's the veteran. So for those of you who haven't heard, George Santos had this fake charity that was never registered. He called it Friends of Pets. And it was a ruse. In fact, it's a scam. It was a scam to pull people's heartstrings so they would donate to save animals, and he absconded with the money. And so much of a scam that George Santos was kicked off of GoFundMe. Okay? Isn't that crazy? You know, everywhere, but everybody's lying. Now George denies that he killed this dog, but who you gonna believe? The veteran, you know, who seems like he's got a decent heart. He's not a sociopath. Or the con man who lied about his entire history, who not only would sell his own mother, but did. He sold his own mother's death to try to give himself some kind of, I don't know, sympathy cred? This is how sick he is. And Republicans, they are fucking sick. How many times I got to say this? It's insane. I said every single Republican, there's something wrong with them. Give me 10 minutes with them, and if they're truthful, I'll get to the bottom of it. Hold on. My stupid button keeps clicking on everything. Here we go. Hopefully it'll change when I get a real computer.
I almost threw up. I was so livid that I realized that this guy is now a serving congressman. He doesn't deserve that job.
This is the veteran who George Santos stole from. So the guy he served this country, and he was struggling. His service dog, got sick and needed an operation. And the dog would have lived if the dog had the operation. And the veteran was referred by a vet, unfortunately, to the Friends of Pets charity. And yeah.
Horrendous that he could lie and steal and cheat his way through life, and now he's somebody that we are supposed to trust. Right. It's just disgusting.
It is.
It's horrible. He should be ashamed of himself, but he doesn't have shame. He's a psychopath.
Yes, he is. He is a psychopath. And, you know, I thought when I was watching that interview, and I've seen the veteran on other interviews, he should run for George Santos's seat. He should. He'll win. He would totally win. But anyway, so any Democrat is going to win that seat. And that's why Republicans, who are shameless, they're not going to let go of him. So George Santos killed that veteran's dog. He just absconded with the money, and because that's all that matters. And then he blocked them when they tried to get in contact with him, and he blocked their numbers. He wouldn't respond. He's a dirtbag. He's a filthy, disgusting dirtbag. But he says that they it's unbelievable or whatever. He's denying that he killed the dog, but like I said, who are you going to believe? The veteran or are you going to believe George Santos? Now, George Santos is a very sick dirtbag. Now, if this were World War II and we were in the concentration camps, he would be, sidling up. He would be the Sonder commandos, who he would definitely be someone who reported his fellow undesirables, right? Because he really does hate. He hates himself. He sells out his entire gay community. He says he's in the gay community, right? But the more will be revealed. I don't know. Is he married to a man? There were some tweets where he was saying, my fiance and I had to flee our house with our 4 dogs. First of all, the other thing is everything, because he's such a filthy liar, no one's questioned this. It seems like a minor fib, but all the pictures I've seen of George Santos, he doesn't have 4 dogs. He has 2 dogs. 2. I see him with 2 dogs. Not 4, but you see, he can't help himself. He's a liar. And when he was running for this seat that he's in now, that's why there's a lot of he did the rounds on different radio shows where he's so full of shit, but he proves everything I say correct. And first of all, one of the things I say is that all the Republicans hate themselves, that they're, especially the gay Republican. I don't understand how you could be gay and a Republican, but there has to be some level of self-loathing. And here's George Santos on a radio show talking about, gays.
Well, look at it this way, John. The family unit's been under attack for decades.
Yeah.
Look, in different ways, right? In different ways. The flavor of the decade is same-sex couples. Oh, that's so okay. It's to each their own. I don't have anything against that, but they're teaching in school kids, that you don't need a mommy and a daddy. You can have 2 mommies. You can have 2 daddies. I think that's a little much for kids, right?
It's not their place.
And that's an attack on the family unit in the sense where they're just making excuses and reasoning to explain to kids why there's only one mommy or why there's only daddy, and there's no other person. That it's okay to be like that. That's your unique type family. I want to go back in time and think, why would it be bad for minorities in general? And that includes me, right? But why would it be bad for us to have a mom, a dad in the same household, your little brothers and sisters, And then I keep thinking, because then that creates stability. And stability raises good individuals who are independent thinkers.
Yes.
And you have instability in the family unit, you reap havoc. One parent can't parent 2 kids as well as.
Wow. Guys, the pathology is deep with this freak show Republican Party. This is Tara Devlin. Please become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. We will win. Support Tarabuster sponsors like APS Radio News. Become a member on youtube.com/C4channel/Tarabuster. We stick together, we win. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity. That's the truth. My name is Tara Devlin. I'll see you soon. Isn't it incredible? Okay, we're back. Listening to the self-loathing Republican, it's incredible to me. How much do you have to hate yourself? But there you go. You have to hate yourself if you're a gay Republican. But George Santos would, as we say, would sell his own mother, and does. He sells everyone down the river to this death cult of the Republican Party, giving them, and that's why people like we say, how can someone with darker pigment be a Republican? It's the same thing. You act they will accept you in the Republican Party if you are a member of a targeted minority group, as long as you are even more loathsome than the average Republican male, or just not just male, but Republican in general. So and here's the case in point. Here is Exhibit Z-1000. If George Santos was on this show defending the humanity, the decency, the dignity of everyone who happened to be LGBT or Q, whatever, it would be unacceptable to the rugged individuals in the Republican Party. It's insane, though. He knows what he's doing. He knows his audience. So here, let's continue.
Two parents, and there's always that feminine touch to boys from the mother and that masculine touch to boys from the father. Same thing goes for the daughters, and it creates equilibrium and balance.
Equilibrium.
Yes. Scales are tipped, and there's nobody left there, and you have just one-sided. You start creating troubled individuals. Troubled individuals are easier to manipulate and indoctrinate, and they buy pretty much anything and drink any Kool-Aid you give them. So that's why destroying the family unit has given the ability to eliminate any demand. We'll give you more money if you have no father. Wow. Each child will be worth more money if you have no father in the house. So that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's where we stand.
Yeah.
That's where we stand. Look at his face. It's kind of punchable. That's where we stand. Self-loathing. And, Republican, just like the darker pigment cons act as human shields for Republican bigotry. Here's George Santos, the human shield for Republican homophobia. Right? He's purposefully, he likes it. Let me be the human shield. Give me money and power. But there you go. You have no decency. You have no dignity. The lies just keep on coming, too. And it proves me right. Here's another one. Another lie came out where he was complaining that Democrats, that he never gets discriminated against by Republicans. We know how warm and welcoming Republicans are, right? He never gets discriminated. It's always the Democrats discriminating against him, which we know is nothing but bullshit. But come on, where's my eCam? Come on, eCam. Work with me, eCam. I can't find it. Oh, here we go.
I think that Democrats have been very successful for many, many years at pushing forward that Republicans are racist, white supremacists. They're not inclusive. They don't care. Look, as I have suffered discrimination from Democrats my entire life, but I've never been discriminated by a Republican. And that is a true hard fact. That's a cold statement. I have never, ever been in a position where I've suffered any kind of discrimination in Republican circles. But it happens constantly in Democrat circles, whether it's my ethnicity, whether it's my orientation, whether it's my political opinions and views. I mean, to the point I've been ostracized from every single possible social circle. I was a guy who used to go to the Met Gala. I'm not invited back.
Bullshit. You see this? This is another example of what I say, because Republicans, they so long to be in these elite circles, that's why they're like, oh, you elites, I hate the elites, that I hate the the universities or the one, it's like all the liberals that they wish they could be accepted by the Hollywood liberals and all of the all that thinking that goes on in universities. And I wish they just wish they could be accepted, but they are inadequate. They lack not just the ability to swim in those circles, they lack the work ethic. It's much easier to lie. You see, it's so much harder to actually be a champion volleyball player than it is to proclaim yourself a champion volleyball player and get all that glory and have everybody say, wow, you're great. Right? So here, let's continue. He says he used to go to the Met Gala, which is such easily verified bullshit. Not only did he say that he used to go to the Met Gala, he also would go and pick out, he was curating museums and shit like that.
I used to be a guy that would commission parts of art in museums in New York City. I haven't been able to do that in a long time. They won't let me go back in the building.
They won't let me go back in the building. What did you do? Did you take a shit in the halls like they did in the halls of the Capitol? Yeah, I know Republicans have a problem with that. They don't go into the public toilet. Don't pee and poop in the halls. They won't let me back in the building because you're a fascist? I highly doubt that. You're not that important. Nobody, unless you tried to do something. I mean, did you try to steal some of the artwork? What did you do? Everyone's picking on them. You see how Republicans are? Everyone picks on them. If we only allowed them to get away with being filth, spreading their lies, spreading their diseased, thinking, their diseased minds, without ever questioning them, then they would be. I mean, I was going to say they'd be fine, but no, they wouldn't be, because they'd find something else to whine about. They're always whining. Everyone's always picking on them. Professional victims. It's a state for them. They can't help it. Sort of like they can't help being upset as people evolve, as society evolves, because they can't keep up. And they also, because they're such cowards and they don't like, it's like they don't like feeling uncomfortable because they're snowflakes. So if they're challenged to evolve, learn something about other people, learn to look at the world through somebody else's eyes. That's the point of education, right? Which is why Republicans hate it. So, but when you do that, it might make you feel a little uncomfortable. You might think, wow, you get a different perspective on history or just the politics in general, and how not everybody has the same experience, especially American experience. If you challenge them to evolve in any way, they go nuts. Like little babies, they poop their diapers. And then, they dig their heels in and poop their diapers. And then they blame everybody else for the stench. What's that stench? Oh, that's liberals did that. No, honey, that's you. You just pooped your diapers and you stink. And now we all got to smell it. That's what it's like living with this filth. They're like, no, I won't ever change. Don't expect you to. Don't worry, Republicans. No one expect you to pull a hair for this country. We wouldn't expect you to. That would be too much. That would be too much e pluribus unum, too much freedom, too much, pledging your life, fortune, and sacred honor to each other. We don't expect you to participate in that. The least you could do is shut your lying traps and sit down and let the adults do what we got to do to make a more perfect union. Oh, what is that? Gulags? No, honey. We think about things like how can we expand the franchise for all? For example, the Voting Rights Act that the filthy fascists threw out when John Roberts said that racism was over, and the Democrats tried to fix that through legislation, and one of the provisions in the John Lewis Voting Rights Act was that there would be no more gerrymandering. And that's something that the Republicans can't handle. They hate that. How can they win? They will never be able to win if they can't cheat. Well, this Republican Party, maybe they would be able to win if they ran normal candidates who happen to be conservative, but pro-democracy, not pro-coup, not pro-cuckoo. But you see, George Santos is the poster child for everything I've talked about. He's the prime example of that proves me right. I hate to say it, it really is true, because they hate themselves. They hate America, and they so wish. It's like the sour grapes, the story of I don't want them. They were sour anyway. That's the way they view liberals. They so want to be like normal people who can function in a free democratic society. They so wish they could hang out in those circles, that they could go, toe to toe at a party with all the elites, where they could, where they have everybody enthralled with that regale them with all their stories and whatnot, or the latest books and whatnot. But they can't, because all of that takes effort, right? But it's so much easier for them, like for George Santos, to just say, I am no longer invited to the Met Gala. The Met Gala, a ticket to the Met Gala is like $30,000. And you only get invited to the Met Gala if you have a name, and you have to be personally invited. So it's kind of for the elites. I doubt George Santos, who is a grifter, who didn't pay his rent, who was being hounded by, he has 2 evictions on his resume, and on top of everything else, on all of his other crimes. I doubt that he could scrape together $30,000 for a ticket to the Met Gala. And there would be a picture, because they take your picture. Everybody gets their picture taken going in. They have all those kooky dresses and whatnot. Maybe he would show up as, what was his name? Katara Ravachi?
If I try. So these are things that I used to like doing, but whatever. The New York City Gay Pride said that I was not welcome to join.
Ooh,
so
get the fuck out of here.
But
New York City Gay Pride said you, George Santos, are not welcome. Why? Were you who? You were the Grand Marshal? Who were you? You're some rando on the street? We don't want you coming to the gay pride parade. It's a public event. New York City Gay Pride said I wasn't welcome. You weren't welcome to walk down Fifth Avenue? I don't think that's possible. It's incredible. Incredible. And of course, this radio show, the person says nothing. There's no follow-up question. That's why, you probably saw the clip of Chuck Todd going at it with Ron Johnson, and it was quite a breath of fresh air to see him push back on Republican lies. But it's getting a lot of play on social media because it's so rare. Oops, I almost dropped my computer.
It's nice to have the option and to know that I'm not welcome. It's just a really big point. It's like the last nail in the coffin.
The last nail in the coffin. If only. I wish. Literally, it was the last nail in the coffin. But alas. Ooh. But anyway, I've been to the Gay Pride Parade many times. There's no one at the door checking your ID. I'm not welcome at the Gay Pride Parade. You're not welcome to walk down Fifth Avenue. If you've gotten to that point, George or Anthony or Katara, whatever the hell your name is, you need to look at yourself. But he's certainly in the right party, that's for sure. And I mean, right, quote unquote, scare quote party. It's just incredible. Incredible. But not unexpected. I wonder, let's remember this time, though. Because when we talk about it all the time, when you think they've hit bottom, the trapdoor opens and then you're flying down. It looks like you're going into hyperspace, down into the Dante's 15th circle of hell. So, what do you think is going to be next? Right? What are they going to do next? What shit are we going to have to put up with next with these filthy fascists? I don't want to know. That's why it's like a clown show from hell. That's why clowns are so scary. It's terrifying because you think you're in Dante's 15th circle of hell, and then there goes the trap door. Who will top George Santos? I mean, look at this clown show that we have to deal with. Perjury Trader Green, banned from the bowling alley Bobert, Paul Gosar. And, just an aside, too, thinking about the Republicans, Byron Donalds. I thought he was supposed to be such a great leader. Where's Byron Donalds? Byron Donalds not on any committee. He's not the leader of any committee. And the other thing speaking of Byron Donalds, Byron Donalds went on Fox News and he was asked about George Santos. Let's see. Byron Donalds. George Santos. And they asked, here it is. Let's see. I'll play it off the screen. We'll do it live.
Doubt about it. But again, if he...
You have not joined some of your Republican colleagues and, of course, most Democrats that we've heard from who are calling for George Santos to resign. Do you think that he can serve effectively?
I think it's going to be difficult, no doubt about it. But again, if he has the wherewithal to deal with, these things that have been caused by him and other things and still do his job, that still remains to be seen. About the growing list of people calling for resignation, no, I've not joined that. simply because I don't think that that's the job of another member of Congress to say or call for. I think that's something between him and his voters. He has to deal with that on an individual basis.
First of all,
well, I will say that you called for President Biden to resign, and 84 million people voted for him. Congressman Byron Donalds, thank you so much.
There you go. And
anytime.
The other thing is, this is the guy they put up to be Speaker of the House because he has darker pigment. We know it. Ted Lieu reminds Byron Donalds that the Constitution gives members of Congress the power to remove another member with a 2/3 vote. So it is absolutely part of your job to determine if a member is fit for office. Right? You see? No, I don't think that's part of my job, he says. Yes, it is part of your job. It's right there. It is literally in the job description, Byron. Incredible. Incredible. Well, where did we begin? There's I wanted to talk about, let's see. I don't think I have enough time, though. How Republicans, well, I mean, we were talking about it. This is what happens. It goes by so fast. So if you can support the show at patreon.com/TaraDevlin or become a member of the channel, it will help, and maybe we can get the show going and growing to a daily show. So because I was going to talk about DeSantis, but now we're headed towards the end of the show. Because DeSantis is waging an all-out war on education, including Black history. He says it's not, there's no educational purpose to teaching Black history, AP Black history. It's incredible. But no, they're not racist. They're not racist at all. And the only reason that the people with darker pigment vote Democratic about 90% is because the Democrats give free stuff. That's the Republican excuse. They say, oh, well, the Democrats give people with darker pigment free stuff, and that's why they vote against their own better interest. It's the soft bigotry of low expectations, they'll say. But it's not that, of course. The Republicans are just rehashing the same old racist trope that purports, and that they used to roll out during the time of slavery, where they say, well, you need to teach the dignity of work, and thank God that that people with darker pigment are enslaved, because otherwise they would just be lounging around in the in a hammock, some form of hammock. That's who they are. Okay, so one last thing. I know we're wrapping up real quickly. We have about 12 minutes. We talked about how Republicans hate poor people. I wish that they hated poverty like they hate poor people, just like their Jesus told them to hate, right? And the other thing, so now Republicans, I'm sure not all Republicans, but right-wingers of some form were gathering in Washington, D.C. to celebrate sending women to die in back alleys. They're dancing, they love it, but they're saying that it's only begun. It's not, the end of Roe is just the beginning. And we know that already, because they want to ban abortion all over from sea to shining sea. And I'm telling you, I'm talking about this again, as always, because it drives me up a freaking wall. So all day I keep hearing on the corporate media how these right to life, the so-called right to life assholes are rallying in D.C., and then they do the opposite side. Then they had some normal people on and pro-choice, pro-life. It's not about what are they talking about? Pro-choice, pro-life. If you are pro-life, if you really don't like abortion, why are you voting to create more abortions? Because criminalizing abortion does not stop abortion. And all day I was screaming at the television because not one Democrat. This is too easy. Why don't they pick this up? Let me frame this in my mind. When talking to these so-called pro-lifers and say, okay, you don't like abortion, then why don't you advocate for policies that actually reduce the abortion rate? Not one single corporate media mouthpiece said anything of the sort. Neither did any of the normal people that went on as the both sides. All that normal people have to say is to expose the complete, not just hypocrisy, but the complete misogyny of the anti-abortion movement. Because it's not about reducing the number of abortions. It's really the truth. Come on. How easy is this? We have so many studies, so many statistics. It's not a secret that the abortion rate goes down under Democratic policies. Uh-oh, I see it too. Here comes Junior. I see him. Here he is, everybody. Here he's. Come on. All right, you're back. You're up. I know. Just sit. Relax, Mama. Relax. We only have a few minutes left, you silly goose. I say. There he is. He's in my lap. Will you look at the camera, please? Say hello to your fans. Yes. Say hello, everybody. Producers gotta produce. All right. So, yeah, I don't understand how... to me, this seems like a layup. And why... I don't know, man. Do I have to call every radio show? I don't have enough time. I need to sleep sometimes. But why don't the Democrats reframe this argument and say that the truth, that the abortion rate goes down under Democratic policies, that criminalizing abortion doesn't make the need for abortion disappear. In fact, that's what we've always been fighting for. It's not, we love abortion. Who the fuck loves abortion? We want to have safe abortions. We want to have the choice to not die in back alleys like women have been doing forever and ever. So it's, where is it? Come on. And then there was I will have to have another show during the week, of course, because there's other things I wanted to talk about, like the transgender bill in West Virginia, which makes me want to puke. So abortion. Here's from the Independent. The problem pro-lifers don't acknowledge is their completely wrong view of who has abortions and why. As with economics, if you want the results Republicans promise, you gotta vote with the Democrats. What the frig? I don't get it, guys. And you gotta help me out here, because when the reason we have the show and all is to get the word out, maybe reframe the conversation a little, take back patriotism and all that. But I encourage you, when you talk to your Republican friends or if you call into a radio show, not only should you promote Tarabuster, but also because that's your primary reason for calling in, but remind the host and anybody else that of the reality that criminalizing abortion doesn't make it go away. All it does is make it dangerous. And that the reason that women choose to end a pregnancy, as numerous studies show, is because of economics. So the abortion rate goes down under policies that expand health care. Of course, I'm for universal health care. So if you don't like abortion, you would be for universal health care. If you don't like abortion, you would be for education, for contraception, for economic security, for education. You know, because this is what people think when if they have an unplanned pregnancy, it's, oh shit, can I afford this? I already have 2 kids. I'm barely getting by. Not in a country that's supposed to be so effing Jesus loving and pro goddamn life. Prove it. That's what's so sickening. They hate life. Not only so, if you are forced to carry a pregnancy to term, if you're already barely getting by, then they go after your food stamps, right? They tell you you can't have you can't have meat, you can't have cheese, you can only have the bare basic whatever minimum, without any choice as far as human decency is concerned, and education. I mean, what future do these children have then? They don't. If you want to foster a society without abortion, make it possible. Set the economic security. Make that your primary purpose, because that's what will stop abortions, or at least limit them. Make contraception available. Educate women and young people. You know, because no matter what, Republicans, I know they hate that, even though they love it, that young people are going to have sex. They do. They've been doing it forever. For time immemorial, right? And in fact, because we deal with reality, you know, all these abstinence only and purity pledges, we know through through studies that these purity pledge kids, or whatever they are, I mean, it's kind of disturbing, but they are sexually active too. So give me a break here. So let's see. Let me see. I'm a veteran. Where is this? Abortions. Where is this? Damn stupid. The sharpest drop in abortion rates have been under Democratic presidents. All right. In the United States, abortion is one of the most divisive partisan issues. Let me just check the time. I only have a minute. And deeply entrenched in why can't I talk? Party ideology. For many voters, their anti-abortion views are what put them firmly in the Republican camp. In the past 2 weeks, you know, blah, 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 blah. Amy Coney, bitchface Barrett. Let's get to the bottom. But. Barrett was, of course, nominated by Trump, and his stated opposition to abortion is one of the reasons he's maintained the support of conservatives. But for people who are against abortion, they may want to rethink it. During the last 3 decades, abortion rates have fallen under Democrats. Okay? This is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. Unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We will win. Become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Check out APS Radio News. We stick together. We win. We'll have a show during the week, hopefully. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you. I'll see you soon. All right. Crazy. And thank you again, Jim and Richard, for your super chats tonight. And everybody else for hanging out. Share the show with your friends. Do all of that. You know the drill. You know the instructions. Tell your friends that the abortion rates go down under Democratic policies. And if they start talking about pro-life, just laugh in their faces. All right. Sounds good. All right, guys. You know what? I'm not going to be able to do... I'm not going to hang out right now because I'm tired. I need to go lay down and get unconscious and dream of a world where no Republicans are in power. Isn't that nice? And here comes Junior. He's back. Come on. You want to say goodnight? Come on. He's back. Sit down. He's back. Back in the New York groove. He's back. Hey! That's my hand. Back in the New York groove. He's a good boy. When he's sleeping. All right, my friends. I know. Where's the producer? He's right there. There he is. He's right there. Look at their friends over there. And you look in the camera. Look. He doesn't like that. I'm holding his head. Turn this way. Hey, I'm sorry. Look at this. Watch. Watch him. He just wants my hand. He wants my hand at any cost. All right, guys. Listen. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'm going to go and lay down. Thank you. Luck. I looked over at the TV just in time when he was biting, mouth open. Yes. He's a good boy. Listen to his purring. He never stops purring. He's a good... Just purr. Don't cry. He's so good. Purr. Into the mic, please. Right here. Purr. Like he knows what I'm saying. Right here. Junior. Aw, he's so good. I gotta put some videos up on TikTok. I gotta do some TikToks. I gotta do some YouTube shorts. I got to make sure YouTube memberships are working and other things. I don't know. All right, we'll keep doing it. Listen, guys, you are the reason I get out of bed in the morning. So I really do appreciate. I'm not even kidding. So, and I look forward to seeing you during the week, especially if somebody becomes a patron. That usually gives me a lot of motivation. At least it gives me hope. All right, guys. Good night. We will win. My name is Tara Devlin. This is Tara Jr. And I will see you very soon.